was a PR agency involved, and those propaganda, those who were coming out against Sushant, he's being a drug addict, he's been committing suicide, the transiting image of his family, his father, his sisters, that was not very organic. That was a PR exercise by a particular highly paid PR company, and the same PR company, they tried to paint image of Rhea that she herself is a victim, she's a bechari and dukhiari kind of ladki, and the same PR agency was involved in making this case a case of subnationalism, Maharashtra versus Bihar, and later they tried to take an attempt to make this case Maharashtra police versus Bihar police. This was not very organic. This has a backup. There was a PR exercise involved in that, and that was a paid PR exercise. And one more thing, Sawan, you have investigated many cases.
We'll try and avoid making any comments about the accused here in terms of our character. No, that is not something in the realm of our discussion. Also, we'll stick to facts. We'll stick to the investigation, because here at Republic Media Network, we believe in putting across to our viewers facts as far as the investigation goes.
Facts. As far as the investigation goes, Swapnil, let me also bring you in, because it's not about emotions, because perhaps Rhea Chakrabarti, prime accused, thought that trying to sell out this entire emotional card perhaps is going to change the narrative. But what is very important, this is a case which requires hardcore investigation, and there have been evidences that have been gathered by the Central Bureau of Investigation. So clearly this setting the narrative just before an investigation is deplorable, to say the least.
Showik, that when she does this, especially on the eve of the Supreme Court order, or even for that matter, just the day before, she being called, because I'm sure she must have been told that CBI would be wanting her today. So she came out yesterday with all that narrative on other media channels. So, whenever she does that, she always ends up goofing up. So, if she said something yesterday, on the media channels, I'm sure the CBI will, have a recording of that, and very handy. And, when they question her face to face today, and if she says something which was opposite to what she said yesterday, that will really help. Sure.
Swapnil, can I just interrupt you? And I just want you to answer this, because for the benefit of our viewers, just, encapsulate for us the loopholes in your eyes. And today, when Rhea Chakrabarti is being called in for questioning, what, in your opinion, would be some of the major key areas of this entire investigation? You've studied this entire investigation very closely. So hence I'm asking you this question, Swapnil. For the benefit of our viewers, break it down for our viewers in terms of key areas you think that will be focused by the Central Bureau of Investigation.
Right. The first area, the very first thing that the Central Bureau of Investigation as a law enforcement agency will look at is that why did the Mumbai police slept on it for 60 days? Why were they comatose? Why did they not file an FIR? What are the limitations of Section 174 CRPC? If it's an inquest inquiry, how long should it take? 5, 10, 15 days maximum. Either it's suicide or homicide, say either way and file an FIR. If it's suicide, close the case. If it's homicide, or even if it's abetment to suicide, file an FIR. So that's the first thing that we'll look at. Secondly, it will look at is that why were there phone calls from Abhishek Trimukhe to Rhea Chakrabarti post Sushant's death? And, vice versa. Why were those phone calls there? Were they wishing each other or discussing monsoon? How the monsoon is going to play out in Mumbai? That's true. The third point that it's going to look at is all the deleted chats on drugs by Rhea Chakrabarti. Fourth that it's going to look at is the ambulance call driver, the phone call to the ambulance call driver by Sandeep Singh. And vice versa, if there were phone calls, who was Sandeep Singh and why was he there? And then the fifth part that it's going to look at is the post-mortem report, the very key thing. That why is the post-mortem report silent on the date? Why was it done in a huff and that too in the middle of the night? Why was there no COVID certificate required for Sushant's body as it was required for Disha Salian's body? Is there any connection between Disha Salian's death and Rhea's exit on the 8th of June when Disha Salian's death took place? Why was that exit taken place by the Rhea Chakrabarti on 8th of June and especially on the day that Disha Salian died? Is there any connectivity between that? Did Rhea summon the people, or was there somebody else, or at somebody else's behest that she summoned the IT team to come in and wipe out all the hard disks, hard drives, etc., and all those things? So that is one of the things that they will look at. The third thing that they will also look at is rather the sixth or the seventh thing as to the entire 6 to 7 people put together. Were they discussing only peddling or consumption of drugs between themselves, or was it also a part that saying that put that drugs into Sushant's body, 4-5 चम्मच मिला देंगे उसमें कॉफी टी में तो कोई फर्क उसको पता भी नहीं चलेगा, 30-40 minutes to kick it. Was there a plan to administer drugs with a view to benumb him and his reason, take away his reasoning faculty so that he parts with his money gullibly? That was one. And was there also a simultaneous attempt on November 25th, 2019, at that point in time, to estrange the family from Sushant with a view so that he's isolated? The ninth thing that they will look at is that why did you change it from a ownership flat where you were residing to a rented flat? Was that the ownership flat that where you were staying in Capri Heights, a little bit more populated, so that who comes and who goes will be monitored and will be registered, as opposed to Mount Blanc, which is a little bit more isolated? Then the other thing that they will also look at is that why do you come on the eve of the Supreme Court order and start giving out an affidavit vilifying Sushant Singh's family? What are you trying to gain? Why did you first appeal to the CBI, to the Home Minister, rather, why did you appeal to the Home Minister to have a CBI investigation and then suddenly change to a flip-flop and saying that Mumbai police will do so? What was your reason? Were you first afraid that the Mumbai police will not look into this death or will somehow embroil you, and then when you got some comfort level that no, you will not be embroiled, you said that okay, let Mumbai police do so? And lastly, as yesterday, why did you go yesterday on the media channels and give a very, very, sort of an emotional interview? Did you know that you were going to be investigated by CBI, so you were trying to gain some brownie points from the country?